Hello, my name is Jill Kluback-Alonzo, and I am going to walk through the Catechist folder with you. This folder was given out at our Catechist training on September 15th. If you were unable to attend that training, you can stop by the Faith Formation office and we will have a folder ready for you. If you were able to attend the training, but you just would like a little bit more information about what's in the folder, review it again, this walkthrough can also be for you. So when you open the folder, you're going to notice there's a lot of stuff on both sides. I am going to start with the right side. The first item we have is a beautiful prayer card. This is just a small gift for you. On the back is a prayer of a catechist. We also have a bookmark. It has the dates and times for our family formation session, so it's a very handy reference. Then we have a letter to each of you as catechists from Lisa Schmidt, our Director of Faith Formation. You'll want to take some time to read that. The next item is a class roster. This is not a complete or final class roster. We are still making changes to the class lists and rosters. However, we wanted to give you an idea of what your class looks like at this point. So we did include this so you get a little bit of an idea of what your class will be. There are the names of the children and their birth dates on this list. That'll give you an idea of their ages as well as what their name is. There is the parent's name and contact information so that you can reach out to them. And if there are any notes or special items about a child, we've also included that. For example, if a child has an allergy and we thought you might want to be aware of that, we've included that as a note. So just remember, it's not final. We'll have the final rosters to you on October 6th, Wednesday evening, our first family formation session. This is just, for now, what your list looks like. We then have a map with all of the different family formation sessions on it so that you can tell what room you will be in. If you have children who are not in your room, this will also show where they are on family formation nights. The next three items detail the schedule for the year. The first page is the schedule for the kindergarten through 6th grade children. It excludes second graders because they are going through sacrament preparation for reconciliation and First Communion. So their schedule will be a little bit different. But this is for kindergarten through 6th grade minus those sacrament preparation kids. And it shows for each month what the classroom topic will be that the children will be learning about here at St. Francis. And then it also details the home lessons for each week that families will do together and what those topics are. We then have a schedule for those second graders who are on the path for reconciliation and First Communion. This will take a deeper look at what their schedule will be like for this year. And then the third page of scheduling information is for the preschool children. Their schedule is also a little bit different. So this reviews what will be covered with them during each of the sessions that they are here at St. Francis. We then have 4 pages with details about the memory verses for this year. The first sheet is for kindergarten through 6th grade. Again, excluding the second graders who are in sacrament preparation. There is a breakdown by month of what the memory verse is for each month this year. The next page provides the memory verses for those who are in second grade. Additionally, second graders also are learning the act of contrition since they'll have to recite it during reconciliation. So we're asking them to memorize a different line of the prayer each month. So that will also be in your folder here. And then the fourth sheet shows what the preschoolers will have for their memory verse each session, each month. The next item is some information about the Catechetical Institute through the Franciscan University. This is an online program. You can take advantage of it for free through the Diocese of Des Moines. They are providing it. We have provided information to you about the Catechist track. Since all of you are catechists, we figured it was a safe assumption that you would be interested in learning more about perfecting your knowledge and skills as a catechist. This is certainly not the only track they have. They have a parent track, for example, if you're interested in learning how to bring faith formation into your home for your family as a parent. They have many different tracks. So I encourage you to take a look. As I said, it's free, provided through the diocese. Take advantage of it. The contact information is down here at the bottom. The remaining items on the right side of the folder are some handouts and a brochure provided by the special needs coordinator. I would recommend that everyone take some time to review these. It's wonderful information, whether you have a child with special needs in your classroom or not. If you do have a child in your classroom with special needs, it will be especially beneficial to you. You will have an IREP, Individualized Religious Education Plan, in your folder for each child that has a special need, if there are any in your class this year. So when you go through your folder, if you see that, the IREP, take a look, know that it's a plan for a particular child, take some time to review it. If you have any questions, reach out to Amy Tallman, our special needs coordinator, and she can answer those for you. And again, I encourage everyone to read these resources regardless, because it just has some great information. So that covers the right side of the folder. We will move on to the left side. We have name badges. You'll want to wear that on Wednesday evenings to identify who you are. There's also an agenda from our September 15th training. We have contact information for all of us who work in the Faith Formation office. It lists our name as well as what ministry we serve. It has the phone number for the Faith Formation office and each of our email addresses. So depending on who you're looking for or what program you're looking for, all of that will be listed here, and you'll know exactly who to reach and how to get a hold of them. The next item on the left side is a roster of all of you who are catechists. We recognize that you are all very talented and gifted people, and that you are resources to each other and may want to reach out to each other in community and brainstorm or talk or collaborate as you work together and grow as catechists this year. Please feel free to do that. The roster has your names and your contact information as well as the grade that you'll be teaching. So you'll know which catechists are working with the same age group that you are, the same grade that you are, and you can reach out to them if you would like to do that. The next item is the Catechist Handbook. This is a little bit longer, has a lot more detail, but it's also very important. So we're going to take the time to go through it. The first page includes some guidelines for catechists. It begins with arrival and attendance and dismissal. We ask that you please arrive at St. Francis by 5:30 p.m. on Wednesday evenings for family formation. Go to the workroom, pick up your supplies, take them to your classroom, and set them up. At 5:45, we would like you to be in the church to start greeting families and children as they come in. You will have a designated pew for your class. Your name and the names of the children in your class will be on a sign on that pew. And you will participate in praise and worship together as a class. Families, parents, children who are older and not in the family formation class will be in the church too, but they'll be behind all of the different classes. in pews behind all of the classes. Once praise and worship is over, then you will take the children from the church into the classrooms. We ask that as children come into the church and find you and the designated pew that you're sitting in, that you mark them on your attendance folder. Your attendance folder will be included in your classroom supplies in the workroom, and you'll want to bring it with you to the church. You'll want to bring it everywhere you go. It's a lifeline. There are some specific guidelines here in the Catechist Handbook for how we would like you to fill out the attendance. We would like you to use particular symbols for present, for absent, for tardy, for left early. There have been times where a catechist has used one symbol, for example, an X, to mean that the child was present, and then a different catechist will use an X to show an absence, and it creates confusion. So to avoid that, we created a system, and we would really appreciate you using it because it helps to keep things clear for us in the Faith Formation Office when we go back through those records. At the end of the evening, parents will come down to the classes and pick up their children. There is a place on the attendance sheet for parents to sign their child out. They can put their initials. Please make sure that they do that before you release the child. The parents need to pick them up and they need to initial that they have picked up their child. In the event that we need to cancel family formation, this would probably happen in the wintertime due to weather. You will be notified of that through a messenger system. You do not need to call the Faith Formation Office personally. We will use that messenger system to be in touch with you. If you would like to check, you can always check the parish website. That information will be there as well. The last few things on this page are in regards to leaving early, visitors, or leaving with someone other than a parent. Leaving early is fine as long as the parent comes to the room and gets the child and signs out on the attendance sheet. That's fine. You will just make a note of that on the attendance, mark it, and that's it. Visitors and leaving with someone other than a parent are special circumstances, and we need to be aware of that. You need to be aware of it, and those of us in the Faith Formation Office need to be aware of it too. So if we find that out, we will give you a heads up and let you know ahead of time. If you have not been told by someone in the Faith Formation Office that a child is leaving with someone other than a parent, or that there will be a visitor to your classroom, you need to contact us before releasing that child to a non-parent or allowing a visitor in your class. The Faith Formation Office needs to be aware of who is in the classrooms at all times. And we need to make sure that when we're releasing children that they are going with someone that has been designated by the parents. So please make sure you communicate those items to us should you have them happen, and we will make sure to do the same and pass on that information when we're aware of it. The next item on our guidelines, it's the next page, we have communication with the parents. On the roster, as I said earlier, you have parent name and contact information. We ask that you please reach out to parents via email, or you can write a letter and give that to them on October 6th. If you choose to write an email instead, it would be nice if you wrote it in advance or on that evening, but if you wrote it a day or two later, that would be all right too. It's just nice to connect with the parents so they know who you are, and that way you guys feel comfortable talking to each other. We also have some information about getting a substitute catechist. We recognize that, you might get sick, you might have car trouble, maybe you're going on vacation, things happen in life. That's fine. As soon as you know that you are going to be unable to attend a family formation session, please give us a call. We need to be notified, and phone call is best so that we have the details and information we need and we can start looking for a substitute catechist. So all of that is outlined here. There's also information about illness and injury, and in particular bloodborne pathogens. If a child in your class should become sick or hurt, please contact the Faith Formation office so that we can help you. There are also first aid kits by the door in all of the classes. They're in bright red bags, so you'll be able to see them, figure out where they are very easily. You can take out any supplies from there that you need to treat a child. Just let us know so that we can replenish them later. In particular, if you might come into contact with bodily fluids, for example, a child has a cut and it's bleeding, we ask that you wear gloves as protection for yourself from those bodily fluids before putting a bandage on a cut, for example. That's protection for you. Don't ever leave a classroom or a child unattended. If for some reason you need to separate kids from one another, maybe a child needs to leave the room, go to the bathroom, for example, you cannot take that child by him or herself and leave the class unattended. Likewise, that child can't go by themselves either while you're in the class. If you need to call the Faith Formation office to have somebody come down, we are happy to do that. Please do not ever leave any child or children unsupervised. And then we have some information here about shared classroom and facility use. All of the rooms here at St. Francis are used by many, many people. The school in particular has teachers and children in it every single day. But even here in the Faith Formation office and the parish part of the building, the church, we have masses, we have Bible studies, we have a lot of different groups that use the rooms here. And so we need to be aware of that on Wednesday evenings when we have family formation sessions, and try to leave the room as nicely as we found it when we came in. So if you move furniture around, please put it back in place before you leave. Pick up your trash. We don't allow food or beverages in the rooms because there are many people who have allergies, some of them very severe, and even one crumb could cause them to have a very serious allergic reaction. So for that reason, we do ask that you not consume food or drink during faith formation sessions. If you have a child who brings food or drink, please ask them to put it away or throw it away. We don't want to be the cause of somebody getting sick later. In terms of supplies, we would ask that you please pick up everything that was used during the faith formation, family formation session, and bring it back to the workroom. If you've been a catechist in the past, you might have been used to leaving some supplies in the classrooms in a designated cabinet. Since we are now meeting here at St. Francis only once a month and the rest of the sessions are being done at home, we have given those cabinet spaces back to the school since they use them every day. And we will just bring our supplies back and forth once a month between the workroom and the classrooms. The next page has some information about volunteer screening, which I'll go over in more detail here in a minute. It also has some information about confidentiality. Anytime you need to talk about a specific child with a parent, for example, please be aware of who else is around you. And if there's information that should remain private, please make sure that it does so, that you keep confidential information confidential. The next page outlines the emergency procedures. Hopefully you'll never need these. If you do, there is a copy of this exact page in your attendance folder, so you don't have to have everything on this page memorized. It would be beneficial for you to read through it so that you have an idea of what to do should an emergency arise, but you don't need to remember every single detail. This will be in your attendance folder. The top of the sheet covers telephone information. It details how to get an outside line in the event that you should need to call 911. It also has the extension for the Faith Formation office, as well as Lisa Schmidt's cell phone number if you wanted to reach her for some reason. And then there are specific emergency plans outlined. So in the event that there's a fire, this is the information you need. Tornado, strangers in the building, a lockdown, bloodborne pathogens. There's also some information here about the emergency glass breaking kit, which is included in every room. If you need to evacuate the building and the door to your room is blocked, this kit allows you to break through the window and successfully exit the building. There are some instructions for how to do that, and those are located here. Again, take some time to review this, just so you have this information as general background in your head. But if there ever were a real emergency, know that this information is in your attendance folder so that you can reference it then. The next page has some information about the doors and the locking schedule. Families will be coming into the church on family formation nights down by the church. They will not be able to enter through the school, for example. Those doors will remain locked to anyone trying to get in from the outside. All families and children need to enter through the church. Once someone is in the building, they are not locked in, however. So if in the event of an emergency and we do need to exit, anyone can go through any door and exit and get out of the building. Nobody is ever locked in. It's just we keep the doors locked so that strangers from the outside cannot get in, and we ask that everyone enter through the church doors. Lastly, we have some very specific policies from St. Francis and from the diocese. The first of these is the discipline policy. There's also a sexual harassment policy. And then the last page has information about reporting child abuse, grievance procedures, and a policy on support for church teaching. Please take the time to review all of those, and if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to get in touch with us. The next item in the folder is this yellow half sheet of paper, and we would ask you to fill this out if you have ever had any type of emergency preparedness training. So for example, if you've had first aid training or CPR training, both of those are listed on here, but maybe you've had some ALICE training or Stop the Bleed. Any type of training that would prepare you for an emergency situation. Please fill this out. Let us know your name, what kind of training you've had. We will collect this and keep a master list in the event that there ever is an emergency on a family formation night. That gives us an idea of which catechists and volunteers have specific training and what kind of specific training to help in an emergency. If this doesn't apply to you, that's okay. Just recycle it. But take the time to fill it out if you are one of those people who has that specialized training. The last few items on the left side of the folder have to do with volunteer screening. These are items that we are required to follow via the Diocese of Des Moines. The first is the form that we use to perform a background screening. You would fill out the portion that's outlined in yellow. This has a couple of sheets to it, so you'll want to go through. You may have already done that, and if you have, that's fine. If you have not, please take the time to fill it out and get it back to us so that we can run it. We cannot let you serve as a volunteer with children until we have this background screening complete. We also ask, via the diocese, that anyone who is working with children as a volunteer complete Virtus training. This training helps you to recognize and report child abuse should you see signs of that in your classroom. It's an online training that you can complete at home on your own. When you have finished it, let us know, and we can go through the diocese to verify that. Again, we can't let you be a catechist unless you have finished this training. So please take the time to do that and let us know when you've finished it. And then the last thing, you don't have to fill anything out or complete a class, but it is the code of Conduct for Personnel for the Diocese of Des Moines. And we do ask that you spend some time reading it and the information that's there. And then if you have any questions, please let us know. That concludes all of the items in the folder. We are so happy to have you as catechists this year, volunteering in the classroom. We hope that it's a very positive experience for you and that you, as well as the children, grow in your journey, in your faith. If you ever have any questions or need anything, please don't hesitate to reach out to any of us in the Faith Formation office. We are happy to be here, happy to have you, and happy to help you with anything that you need.